What's going on, guys? Here's your long-awaited BCH update. If you got time, please hit the like button and maybe even leave a comment below. I don't care what it says, just because it's going to help me get my channel out there a little more and continue growing. And I appreciate everyone that's been subscribing and following along. So, what we've been having going on here, let me speak some real sentences. Well, let's take a look. So you guys know all the scoops, so I'm not going to go over everything. You can watch the other videos if you'd like to check out what's going on here. But we'll just start from right here. We were flagging out underneath this 830 resistance. We broke up. We hit this 966 resistance. Came down, failed to hold 930 as support. We crashed on down, not really crashed, but we had a pullback. We bounced perfectly off this 825 to 830 that we've talked about, and we ran up. And then we started flagging in a rising channel underneath this 1175. We had a little break up to this 1213, but there was no way of holding this as support. We dropped all the way down, made a small bear flag, and we fell further. And then we bounced off this 825 to 822 level. What is it? 825, I think. 823.68 to be exact, but I call it 825 just because my trading works that pretty well that way. And you guys know I put a trade in here. We had a run up to 1030. We came back down. I put my stop loss below here on a short-term trade, and I got stopped out here. We ran back down, and I had my buy order at 830, and we hit 828. And the only reason I didn't put it all the way down exactly here again is because I know that most of the time when you tap a low, when you make another low, usually if it's bullish, it's a lower low. Now I was a little bit concerned here because it looked like a head and shoulders pattern, which, you know, somewhat played out, but not really, because we managed to hold this support here. And then we made a double bottom here, right on this level. Dropped to this 830, came up, caught resistance, and we've been fighting underneath this hourly 20 EMA. Once we got above it, we blasted up, and now we're flagging out right below this 864 resistance as we continue to attempt to hold this 930 as support. That's huge, right? Huge. And we've been having some small wicks down to about this 919, 920. But ultimately, I am looking for another test of this 966, 964. Now, if we can actually get a break here, which, you know, I'm looking for this to be a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder. So potentially an inverse head and shoulders here. And as well as the small bull flag. So as long as we can continue to hold above this ultimately $900 level, because it has been wicking slowly down to this, you know, 905 roughly, and this is rising a little bit. If we can break out of here and get an hourly close above, we can call it 970, we can call it 982. It depends how you'd want to play it, because of course we have this 200 EMA on the hourly at 980. So if we can get above this 982, get an hourly close roughly above somewhere between these two areas, we can make a nice trade off of this pattern. So this pattern here, if this is a small bull flag or an inverse head and shoulders, however you want to play it, I'd play it as a small bull flag. And I'd probably just say, just to be conservative, you know, it's a break to potentially 1062, with the exception of this 1030 area being some form of resistance here that we can't seem to hold on top. Now we could be safe here and say, hey, it's 915, but we'll put it all the way up to about 1042, because 1042 is really the level. Now if we can get above this area of 1042 and we can flag out on top of here, even if it comes down to this 1021 and bounces, 1020 and bounces, that would still be okay. This could be extremely bullish. Now, what we're doing right now is we're flagging out right on top of this resistance. Now, if you take a look at this resistance, this is the same resistance we hit here, the same resistance we hit here, and now the same resistance we hit here, but we broke above it, which means we're confirming it as support. So the only reason we really capped out here, which nobody knew this pattern was here until now everyone's looking at it, which means this here can actually bring us up a lot further. And if you look at my trend line target, you can see what this actually could end up looking like. Even if it chops around a little bit, so on and so forth, eventually it could look like a very big W here. We had a double bottom here and a double bottom here. Ultimately can bring us a lot higher than this target. Now, of course, if it hits this target and it comes back down to back test this 1218 to 1175 as support, we can go a lot higher, which the next target would be 1500 to 1800. But if we can't hold this as support, then we would have to look for another back test potentially of this 1042 to 1015, or another back test of this 966 or 930. So you guys know all those levels. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen when it hits this target, if it hits this target. So this is technically a bearish pattern, but we're in an uptrend. So even with this downtrend here that we've had, we can still continue higher if we don't break this level. So if we break this level here if we could decide to just crapshoot and fall, and we decide to break this level, even if we hit this 968, bounce back up to 829, and we continue trending in here, then I'm going to flip extremely bearish. And if you're wondering why that is, we could potentially look at one of my other charts here that's a lot more sloppy that we've been mainly using this whole way up, right? You can see that this huge channel that we were longing from down here and potentially going to take profits here, this area here is the rising channel. And if I throw it on a 4-hour, we can probably get a little better view, but it's very hard to see because I have so much supports and resistances here as we played this the whole way up and watched it form more and more support. So this area that we're trending on is crucial because you can see here we chopped around and then we dumped. We tapped this level and we dumped. So this resistance level goes all the way up. So where are we now? Well, we're chopping around and potentially creating a double bottom on top of this resistance that we have not been able to do. So, the only real warning sign that we have right now is the potential of this 20 EMA on the 4-hour that's right at this 943. And this is pushing us down as it's coming down across. So if we can actually get some momentum and blast up here, that would be extremely, extremely bullish. But if we happen to continue to catch resistance here and we don't continue to flag out here and we fall over, then we might have to come back down to test these smaller levels again, and then we might be getting a little more worried if, in fact, we break this level. So you see why I say it's extremely bearish. Although we know that we have all of these levels below, and it's possible we could come down, test the 715 area that we've talked about in the past being a very, very strong area of resistance, which, right here we tapped it, came down, tested some old support, came up, broke it, and then we just ran, right? So that's a level that I would be looking for below, even with the expectations of all of these other trends that we have, lines that we have here to catch. This would be the next level below if we actually failed. And, ultimately it could actually lead to further sell-off with the possibilities of small bounces off of these levels the whole way down. But we don't want to have that happen, of course. Could it happen? It could happen. Very, very well could happen. So right now, we're kind of looking to get above this 950 level. And it doesn't have to. But that's what I'm seeing right now is this potential of this flagging out. And if we can break above this 970 level, we can get extremely bullish here. So just keep an eye out on all of these things we talked about, and keep in mind that we cannot, as of right now, get support above this 20 EMA on the 4-hour, and we really need this to turn into a nice juicy W and head on further up. But until we flag out up here, we can't really say that this is extremely certain that this is going to happen. And this could take some more time, and we could flag out here for a while. We could just stay here and trade sideways for even longer. But that's where I'm at with Bitcoin Cash. So just keep all of this in mind. Keep all of these levels in mind. And just keep on picturing how what we're doing right here is we're actually flagging on top of an area. Not only are we holding support on top of that rising channel, but we're also holding that 930 support as of right now that we could never hold in the past. With all that being said, guys, we'll see you in the next video. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and leave a comment. Peace.